What's up guys, NepentheZ here and welcome back to another episode of The Road to Glory. More FUT Champions gameplay for you guys today. The team on the screen is the team that I'm currently using. What you'll notice throughout today's episode as well is I actually rotate between Firmino and Walcott and Lacazette and Fekir. Just because I'm still trying to find the right team, and I'm making some changes after this FUT Champions because I'm playing bad. I'm playing bad FIFA. There's no two ways about it. What you're going to see today, guys, for terms of gameplay, again, spoiler alert for what's coming, is going to be me going from 9-1 in the last episode to going to 11-1 after the first two games of this episode and finishing on 14 wins and 6 losses. That's right. I went 3-5 out of an 8-game period, which is just horrendous. And you'll see I got a couple of penalty shootout losses from games that were, one of them was even, one of them I controlled and should have won in. But I've slipped back into something wrong. I've slipped back into doing something wrong that I got rid of my game, and I don't know how I've let it creep back in. And it's not even one thing, it's a combination of things. First and foremost, it's panic defending. What I'm finding I'm doing is I'm controlling games, and because I'm not getting the breakthrough early, I'm starting to panic more and more as the game goes on. You know, the thoughts start entering my head, oh my god, if I concede now, I haven't managed to score yet, in spite of the fact that I've been controlling this game, I'm end up losing this game, and I don't deserve to lose this game. So I start panic defending, start rushing my play, and it just causes me to concede more goals than I should do. Number two is I start panic shooting. Like, one of the best things about my gameplay, like, even if I do say so myself, is my attacking abilities. Like, I've always been very, very good in front of the net in any FIFA, and it's always been my defense that's caused me the problems. And I started really like shoring up my defense in this year's FIFA. But again, one of the things I've started doing is if I'm not getting a goal straight away, I'm starting to take shots I never usually take. I'm starting to shoot with players I shouldn't be shooting with. I'm starting to just, if I can't break down my opponent straight away, I'm getting frustrated and angry, and it's costing me games basically. And again, it's me that's costing me the games. And what I'm doing is I'm getting like 1-goal leads in some games, and I'm not closing these games out. Like, I'm good enough to know when I'm up against a good opponent, right? I think everyone is good enough to know when they're up against a good opponent, no matter what the circumstance. But what I found myself doing was getting 1-0 up in a comfortable game and then throwing it away because I'm panicking to desperately hold on to a 1-0 lead, and it's just not necessary. And the worst thing that I've started doing again, the absolute worst thing I've started doing, is using second man press again. The way I defend, if I use second man press, and you'll see it in the first game where I come up against Crespo, not this one because I won this one, but when I start using second man press, I literally give my opponents acres and acres and acres of space, and it's only me that's causing the issue. And I know for a fact that if I stop doing it, I will concede less goals and I will win more games. Not to say that I'm not winning a lot of games anyway. 14-6 after the first 20 games isn't bad. If we emulate that again, we'll end up 28-12, which isn't great, but it's not bad. It's only 1 win off of elite. And then if I have a good run, like my first run of 12 games where I went 11-1, there's every possibility that we'll be able to get 33-34 wins. But I've got to eradicate these mistakes from my team, and what I kind of like started doing was blaming the game. Not the game necessarily, but just blaming, Firmino and Walcott aren't doing enough for me, it's time to put in Lacazette and Fekir. But that's not the issue, and that's been like attested to the fact that so many people with so many weak teams do so much better than me. The team, I say this now, I'll say this again, and I stand by it even if I complain like illogically through gameplay. I stand by this point that the team is nearly not important, especially at this stage in FIFA. Everyone knows the overpowered players, everyone knows the overpowered gameplay features, the broken game mechanics. So at that point, it's about what you do with the ball when you have the ball and how much of your chances you can make, rather than, oh my god, I lost because this guy has a super team and I don't. That's just never the situation. So our first 2 games were going good. And what was interesting, guys, actually, was that every game up until this game right here was played on Friday. So I finished Friday 11-1. I could have kept playing. It was only like 1 o'clock in the morning. I had still a good 2-3 hours left of gameplay in me. I could have easily got another 4 to 8 games out of this here and potentially gone and carried on my good run of form. I left it, I got to Silver 2, I thought, what a good time to stop. You know, I've hit Silver 2, I'm 11-1. I'm undoubtedly going to get 16 or 17 wins in my first 20 games. I'll probably be, you know, potentially could be gold 3 by the end of them. Let's leave it for tomorrow. And that was the biggest mistake. I came back on the Saturday, and as per usual, and you'll see this week on week on week, Saturday is always my downfall day. It's always the day where everything goes wrong for me. The first opponent we come up against, again, he's not got a spectacular team. It's a very nice team. It's a team I could afford myself. You know, Purple Hazard, Purple Sterling, Crespo, Matic, Kante, regular Nangolan, Manolas, Koscielny, Bellerin, Karanesis, I think his name is, and Alexandro. It's not, by any stretch of the imagination, a spectacular team. It's no better or worse than mine. It's you know, probably a little bit worse than mine. And things actually started really good for me in this game. Great goal there from Theo Walcott. Great play. Got in behind, got the goal, went 1-0 up, and this is where after 35 minutes I should have just been careful with the ball. I'm not saying I should start playing around my defence and like trying to burn the clock down, but I should be careful. But look at my desperate defending. And then this is another mistake I'm making. Look at where I'm throwing that. There's 2 people marking Walcott, and I've thrown it straight to his attacker. He's got in behind. I can see myself. Look at me. Look at the blue. I'm the thing with the blue dot of me. I'm lunging, panicking, auto-tackling. All I had to do there was face up and I would have been able to block the shot. Instead, I've lunged once, twice, 3 times. He's got an easy pass back in. He scores the goal. And I've conceded that in anger. I've conceded that like, oh my God, this game, rah. And it's me. I'm the problem. I'm the one causing the issues. He then scores a header from a corner. There's nothing I can do about that. That's not bad defending. That's just unlucky. You know, that is a game mechanic in FIFA that will either work for you or won't work for you. You can put that at the near post 100 times. You might score 5 times, you might score 50 times. It's literally just whether on that given moment in time the AI falls for you or against you. I went 3-1 down again to a bit of an annoying goal. My defence was nowhere. I got it back to 3-2 and I felt like, okay, I'm in the game here. 3-2, not long left in the game, but I'm back in the game. I was playing good FIFA. And then look at me. I'm lunging. Look at lunge 1, lunge 2. I've given him that goal. Lunge 3. I've selected each defender and lunged instantly. What am I doing? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm panic defending. It's something that I eradicated out of my game for 3 consecutive weeks. And in those 3 consecutive weeks, I got Elite 1, Elite 2, and Elite 3. Right? Last weekend, it crept back into my game. And I ended up getting 28 wins. This weekend is back in... The first 12 games, it wasn't. But it's just, for some reason on the Saturday, I picked up my controller... and I started panicking. And he ended up beating me 5-2 in what was an even game. You know, he had a few more shots, a little less possession and a little better passing. But he ended up winning 5-2, which is horrendous from me. Wasn't a big deal. It's one game, right? I'm 11-2 instead of 11-1. No big deal. Just get back on it, get back in the seat and pick up wins. But you'll see again, and I want to answer some questions from the previous video, so I'm not going to keep repeating myself, but you'll see again and again and again in today's episode where I defend so badly and it just ends up costing me game after game after game. And it's so frustrating for me because I want to bring you guys the best content, right? I want to bring you guys the best gameplay, the best footage, and I want to show that I'm as good as the likes of Bateson, the likes of Marshall, the likes of Fuji. I want to show that I can get 32 to 35 wins every single weekend because I've got the team that has the capabilities to do so. And I have the capabilities to do so. I just need to eradicate these silly mistakes from my game that I felt like I was making in like week 1, 2, and 3. And I progressed and I got better and my team got better and I got better and we started getting better results. And now it seems I've taken like 10 steps backwards. And I'm in a position where I was again like literally like 2 months ago. And that doesn't feel good. And the biggest problem with Weekend League is once you've lost some games, that's it for that weekend league. You can't redo them. You don't get a do-over. Like Division 1 is fine. If you lose a few games Division 1, don't worry. I can start Division 1 again straight away and I'll try again. It's not like that in Foot Champs. If you mess up in Foot Champs, you have to wait until the next weekend to get something good, which is pretty frustrating. Anyway, Liam Healy says, Nep, have you tried Fernandinho? He's awesome. By the way, you're my favourite YouTuber. Liam, thank you for the nice words, dude. I appreciate that. I haven't tried Fernandinho. I'm content with my midfield right now, interestingly, in spite of the fact that you'll see me lose a few games here. And okay, a few of the games I lost were actually on penalties, but in spite of the fact that you're going to see me lose a few games here, I think Diego Costa is the guy I was missing. I didn't really try him much previously. I tried him once on stream and lost and just put it down to him, and it wasn't him. I've now used him in a whole FUT Champs run, and as a centre midfielder, he offers everything. I have the engine chem style on him that boosts his pace, dribbling and passing. And the reason why I chose that is because his passing needs to be improved a little bit. His passing isn't bad, it's pretty good. It's so low on the card because his free kicks and curve were low. But his short passing and long passing are actually pretty decent. His physicality is amazing. At 6'2", really strong. He's got a 4-star weak foot. He's got a banging shot from the top of the box. And you'll actually see him score a lot of goals for me over the course of the 40 games. But more importantly is that the engine chem style boosts his dribbling to the point where it boosts his agility and balance and makes him a very viable option in the midfield. So if you guys have got him and you struggle up front with him because you need a speedster up front, try him in midfield, because for me he's been spectacular. I felt like this weekend, and when I was 11-1, I was sitting there thinking, my God, why didn't I do this before? I don't know why I didn't do it before, but I didn't, and now here we are. I end up winning that game on penalties, so that gave us, I believe, that put us 12-3 or 12-2, but still, regardless of what happened here, I just absolutely folded during this kind of like quarter of 10 games, and it was nothing to do with anyone other than myself. So no, I haven't tried Fernandinho, nor do I anticipate that I will try him. John Hurley says, Yo Nep, I just had a horrible weekend and finished gold 3. I don't know what I was doing wrong. I was just getting ripped apart and couldn't defend any of my opponent's attacks. Could you give me any tips? The reason why I picked this is because I've been having a bad weekend too, and the answer is you just need to analyse your own gameplay. Just through editing these games here, I was noticing instantly what I was doing wrong. And it frustrates me, like, editing it back and watching it back, because I know that I should have done better, because I just see myself doing not little mistakes that my opponents are capitalising on, huge mistakes, like the kind of mistakes where it's impossible for them to not capitalise on them. Because if it was like a little mistake here or there, or if I just got outplayed, it'd be like, hey, I'm playing good FIFA, he outplayed me, he beat me, no problem. But when I'm literally gifting people goal after goal after goal, that's not a reflection of their skill versus my skill, that's a reflection of their mistakes versus my mistakes, and unfortunately my mistakes are just a billion times worse. So the only thing I would suggest you do is go into divisions right now. If you've got the opportunity to record your games, and basically like analyze what's going wrong, and try and figure out a way to stop it. And this penalty save here, guys, I lost this penalty shootout off the back of that. I dived the right way, the Gea got his hands to the ball, and the ball went through his hands. That's quite frustrating, to lose a penalty to a save. Look, his Kasper Schmeichel made 10 saves as well. I should have won the game in regular time. That's my bad for not taking my chances where I should have taken my chances. You can see I had some good shots from good areas and I just couldn't take my chances, right? So I should have won that game in regular time. When it got to penalties, it comes down to a lottery, who's going to be it, whose luck is on. But when you dive the right way and you're in a good position to save the ball, and the ball goes through the keeper's hands, that's a tough pill to swallow. And I'm not even saying I still would have won the penalty shootout. I might have gone and missed my next one. He might have gone and scored his next one. But I was cheated out of a goal, and that's frustrating. However, I digress. We move on. Corey Rice says, by the way, Nep, every day on Companion app you get free pack or coins. And what Corey's talking about is yesterday's episode. I was talking about how last year EA gave us free packs for FUTMAS. Every day it was a new free pack. It scaled up. It started off with a 5k pack, went 7.5, went 15, went one of the 25k packs, another one of the 25k packs, a 35k pack, and then a 50k pack. And that's what they gave us for FUTMAS. And this year they haven't given us anything, but the Companion apps gifts are back. But the Companion app gifts are garbage. The absolute best you will get is 5,000 coin unlock or a 5k pack. But on average, I've opened it 3 times on my Road to Glory. I got 250 coins, 250 coins, and a bronze gift pack, which is a bronze pack with 4 items: 1 player, 2 consumables, and 1 ball. Or like a state, basically 1 player and 3 consumables is basically what it was. And it's not what it was last year. As I said, people say, oh, EA are giving us these SBCs to do. They're not giving us anything. They're conning us. They are screwing us out of our hard-earned coins in FIFA. for like bad teams. And somebody actually pointed out in a comment. Let me see if I can find that one first to read, because it was important. Where are we at? Is it? Yeah, there you go. So Fyon Johnson says, it's crazy to think that SBC Douglas Costa was 3 screen players, a 78 rated team for 70 chemistry, and he was 85 rated for a much better league and a much better nation as well. But an 84 rated striker for a league no one really uses for an 85 rated and 4 team of the week is ridiculous. I don't know who he's talking about as a striker. For Fekir, I guess he's talking about. And yeah, he's right. For 84 rated Fekir, you need an 85 rated team and 4 informs, and the lowest rated inform right now is like 20 to 30k, probably even 30 to 40k because of these SBCs. Whereas Douglas Costa required 3 screamer cards, which, okay, they were about 60 to 70,000 coins at the time, but it only required a 78 rated team. So after you got the scream cards, that was it. Like, the rest of the team was basically like 5,000 coins. So you'd pay about, probably I'd say on average about 200,000 coins for an 85 rated Douglas Costa, which is a very, very good value. And it was a position change Douglas Costa. Okay, Fekir is also a position change, but for Fekir you need to buy 4 team of the week players at a minimum of about 30,000 coins a team of the week. So let's say 25k for an average, so 100,000 coins for the team of the week players. And you need it to be an 85 rated team, which means if you don't have a high rated team of the week player, you need to put in high rated goal players. So you're having to pay like 250 to 300,000 coins for an 84 rated striker, when for an 85 rated right wing from Bayern you were paying pretty much less. And I agree with that. Like, it's crazy. Like, the fact that they're making us, they're basically like extorting us of our coins and players, and they won't stop doing it because we keep using it. We keep doing it. Like, I do it on my main account for a video every single day. I've chosen to do one so far on this account, and that's Daniele De Rossi, because I just think his card is really good, and I got him for relatively cheap because of who I already had in the club. But in general, EA are absolutely wiping the market of informs and high-rated players right before Team of the Year, and it's costing people anywhere from 150,000 to 500,000 for every single SBC card, which is just not right, because they're not huge upgrades. Like, you are required to put together an 86 rated team with 2 or maybe 3 informs, I can't remember exactly which, for an 81 rated striker Rashford, who has arguably the same or worse stats than the regular Jamie Vardy or Loic Remy. Right, so tell me why EA have done that. I don't have any reasonable explanation, unfortunately. We move on to Thomas Atherton Barnes. Says, Nep, hope you see this. I got SBC Fekir and I looked on Foothead. I agree that he is marginally better in pace and shooting, but his physical and passing are much better. Yeah, I just decided still not to go with him. I already missed the chance to do him. I don't think I'm going to regret it. I think I'm glad I didn't spend and waste those coins on a player that has, okay, so he has a bit better physical and a bit better passing than his regular card, but if, like in the instance of this weekend league, I wasn't even using him, it doesn't make any difference, you know. So I don't know. It's one of those situations where if I had 1.5 million coins sat in the club instead of a few 100,000 coins, I might have sat here and thought, you know what, let me just get him. I'll regret it if I don't. But when I'm like, I'm trying my best now, and I will do from now until when Team of the Year arises. I want to clean out my club. I want to get one team that I'm using, sell basically everything else apart from obviously the untradables, fitness cards, consumables, players, discard anything that doesn't sell, and just have to buy it as the SBCs come, because I want to start amassing a war chest so that when Team of the Year comes around, look at that for a save again. I dived the right way on that penalty, and I don't know how I didn't save it. I think I did the same thing on his first penalty as well. I dived the other side and got gloves to it, just goes in the back of the net. But yeah, I basically want to have enough coins around at Team of the Year so that if I can get a Team of the Year player that's relevant to the team, I will do, and I will put him in. The Epic Gamer says, Nep, you're saying it's the player, so how about you try cheap for one weekend league and let's see how you do. I already did about 4 or 5 weekend leagues ago. It was the first weekend that I ever got elite, actually. It was a team, the only expensive players in it were the Player of the Month Sterling and the Player of the Month Son, but I could quite easily have replaced those for Walcott and Oxlade-Chamberlain, and I would have had a team worth about 25,000 coins. I had Mustafi, I had Williams, I had Bellerin at right back. He was the most expensive player in the team at about 15,000 coins. I had Butland, I had Clichy, I had Ross Barkley, Roberto Firmino, and Gareth Barry. And I had Rashford up front, the regular Rashford. Altogether, apart from the 3 untradeable players of Barry, Son and Sterling, which you could easily have replaced for 3 cheap players, the team was worth about 30,000 coins. And I got elite that weekend. I got 30 wins with it. So I've already proven that it's not the team, it's the player. As I say many times, there will be an instance where the team will save you. There'll be an instance where you come up, you've got a great team and your opponent's got a garbage team, but you're both incredible players and you have 10 shots and he has 10 shots and you win 2-1. And the reason why you won 2-1 was because, you know, that long shot that Pogba made that, Barkley couldn't, although Barkley can make long shots, but you know, on this occasion, that was the difference. There are like I would honestly say 1 in 50 games, maybe 1 in 100 games, the team will win you a game just because it's just a better team. But more often than not, player skill is paramount. Player skill is what's most important, and not even necessarily player skill, but player errors is what the most important thing is, because this game is very. It's very like simplistic in what you have to do to get opportunities to win games. There are a few like broken game mechanics that just allow you to create chances, whether it be pass it through the wing, pass it across the face of the box and wait for the angled run to play a through ball through to get the shot on goal, whether it be counter attacks. Like there are you know, a very specific number of attacking alternatives that you can use to generate chances. What it comes down to is who makes more defensive mistakes, you or your opponent? Because you'll both get ample chances during a game. It's just who can read the opponent better and who makes the least mistakes. If you make more mistakes than your opponent, the likelihood is you're going to concede more goals, and at that point you're going to lose more games. And there is a comment here from Adam M, and he says, Nep, this is going back to the topic about whether some expensive players are worth it. I agree with you, and I think the reason is because of the OP things in FIFA. Like the low driven shot and the cross-body shots don't require expensive players. For example, Player of the Month Son will score just as many low driven shots as Sergio Aguero. This isn't because Aguero isn't better than Player of the Month Son, but this is because the low driven shot is so OP, and that's exactly it. The broken game mechanics in this game only require relative decency on the player, and the rest is just human interpretation. Past that, the things that I think make a difference are the things that I think people don't realise make a difference. For example, on a striker or a winger, high agility and high balance will be more of a difference to you than high shooting and high passing or high pace. You know, like that's important. And I personally believe that stamina is super important on players. If your players can last longer than your opponents in the last 10, 15, 20 minutes of a game, you'll find yourself just way outperforming your opponent just because your players have got more legs on them. So I think there's more to be seen for what's important on a player than just, oh, he's super high rated, he must be better. And that comment, it like captures that perfectly. Rule 2747 says, will we ever get a Player of the Month defender? That depends on if there's ever a Player of the Month defender. I think people are hugely mistaken by what they think happens. It's not like EA and Ultimate Team don't decide who the Player of the Month is. It's the EPL that decide who the Player of the Month is. EA have one person on the panel that has a vote, but in general, it's whether or not it's basically who the EPL decide is the Player of the Month. Unfortunately, due to the way that defenders and goalkeepers get overlooked for clean sheets, tackles, and saves, because the strikers score the goals or the midfielders create the assists, it will almost always be a midfielder or an attacker for Player of the Month, which is a little bit unfortunate. That is the team we ended with on the screen as well, guys. We ended 14 wins, 6 losses after being 11-1. 14-6. Embarrassing, man. Embarrassing. Bizotto says, how does he know who the next Footmas SBCs are, or is he guessing? The reason how I knew was because the dynamic images of the players were found on the database. I don't know what tomorrow's are going to be, or I say tomorrow in like probably 2 hours by the time you're watching this. It might already be tomorrow. I don't know what they are yet, but as soon as I know what the dynamic images are, it's definitely those 3 players. I don't know what their ratings are, and I don't know what the requirements for the Squad Builder Challenge are. I just know what the actual players are. Anyway, guys, this is going to be the end of the video for today. If you did enjoy this, be sure to leave a like, rating, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. But for now, guys, I'm out. Peace.